Herman Balck, most effective German general. Herman Balck is not a household name. He should be. Rommel, Guderian, Manstein, those are the German generals everyone remembers. Balck outperformed all of them by nearly every measurable metric. Herman enrolled in the Hanoverian Rifle Battalion 10 as a cadet in 1913. The following year he continued his education at the Hanoverian Military College. Then W.W. happened. The war interrupted his studies. He became an infantry officer, at the age of 21. In 6 months of defensive combat in 1943, Balck's division claimed over 1,000 Soviet tanks destroyed while losing roughly a tenth of that number. The misconception is that German tactical brilliance came from technology or superior manpower. Balck proved otherwise with broken units, captured vehicles, and a lot of improvisation. The overlooked consequence of his success is that it prolonged a war Germany could not win. Effectiveness and morality are not the same thing. Balck was born into a military family. His father served as a general in World War I. The younger Balck fought as an infantry officer in that same war. Between the wars, he stayed in the reduced German army. He specialized in light infantry and mountain warfare, not tanks. That odd background would shape his later command style. In 1940, Balck commanded a motorcycle rifle battalion that crossed the Meuse River ahead of schedule. His superiors noticed. He was promoted and given a panzer regiment. Balck learned armor on the job. He was 46 years old, older than most battalion commanders, and he approached tank warfare like an infantryman who happened to have tracks. His philosophy was simple: move fast, hit hard, and never give the enemy time to think. That sounds obvious until you try to do it with radios that fail and engines that overheat. In late 1942, Balck took command of the 11th Panzer Division. The division was understrength, under-equipped, and positioned to defend against a Soviet winter offensive. The Red Army attacked with 3 tank corps. Balck had about 70 operational tanks. Standard military doctrine would have predicted a rout. Balck did not meet the Soviet advance head-on. He let the leading tank corps roll past, then struck its supply columns and following infantry. Then he disappeared before the Soviets could react. He repeated that pattern for 6 days. The 11th Panzer Division drove in 20 miles, cut off 2 Soviet brigades, and withdrew before encirclement. One of his battalion commanders later wrote, "Balck had a feel for the exact moment when the enemy stopped thinking and started reacting. That is when he struck." Balck commanded from a moving vehicle, usually near the lead battalion. He believed that radio reports were always 15 minutes late and often wrong. He used colored flares and prearranged radio codes to shift his battalions. If those failed, he drove to the unit commander's position and gave orders in person. This style worked because Balck trusted his subordinate commanders to execute without constant supervision. He gave them a mission and a boundary. The rest was up to them. Balck was wounded 4 times between 1941 and 1944. He refused evacuation twice, staying with his division until the crisis passed. His staff learned to keep a doctor nearby. The human cost was never absent from his calculations. But Balck treated losses as a resource constraint rather than a tragedy. That clinical detachment was his greatest weakness as a commander. Balck's 11th Panzer Division fought a series of brilliant delaying actions throughout 1943. Each one bought time. None reversed the strategic situation. He was promoted to Army Group Command in late 1944. By then, the Eastern Front was collapsing. No amount of tactical brilliance could fix operational irrelevance. After the war, American military historians interviewed Balck extensively. They wanted to understand how his division had inflicted such disproportionate losses. Some of Balck's tactics ended up in NATO doctrine. The irony was not lost on him. He spent his final years lecturing at American staff colleges about how to fight the Russians. He died in 1982, largely forgotten in Germany and unknown in America outside a small circle of armor officers. The lesson of Herman Balck is that tactical brilliance does not win wars. Strategy does. And strategy requires more than a good eye for the flank. He was probably the best frontline panzer commander of the war. He also served an indefensible cause. History can hold both truths at the same time. Subscribe to War Machiner and share this if you value history that goes deeper.